In the last part, we wrote a program that opened up a data file and performed a calculation on that file. The parts of that program, fairly straightforward as far as, we go line by line. We're doing cleaning up of the data, doing some conversions and so forth. However, there's some things that can go wrong with this program as well. One of the things that can go wrong is somebody might provide a slightly different file to this program. I'm going to change the code to use a different file here, portfolio2 CSV. We're going to run it, and the whole program is going to blow up essentially in my face. What's going to happen is it's going to crash. Well, the reason it's not working is that somebody encoded the data in a more evil form. This is what this new file looks like down below. You'll notice that it still has a name, a date, shares, and a price, but the date has been encoded in a slightly different way. One of the ways that it's been encoded is that it includes a comma as part of the data. You can ask, well, how does that make the program blow up? Well, the way it makes the program blow up is it makes this splitting operation fail. It gets completely confused. There's a comma as part of the data, and it shouldn't be splitting on that data. So one of the things that you might ask is actually like a higher level question. Why am I having to clean up all this data? I'm reading a file. Like, why do I even need to do this? Split into commas and removing quotes and so forth. Hasn't somebody already solved this problem in the Python world? It seems very low level. The answer to that question is that these problems actually have been solved. If you're reading data and you're working with any kind of standard file encoding or anything like that, chances are there's some library module that can help you out. One of the libraries that Python provides is a library called CSV. The whole purpose of this library is to read comma-separated value file. Here's a little bit about how it works. What you can do is you open up a file, like say portfolio CSV for reading, and then what you do is you apply a CSV reader to it. You say CSV reader of F, and what will happen when you do that is it will automatically take care of splitting all of the rows apart and eliminating quotes and doing other things. So like if I were to do a for loop on it, you will find that it's already doing a lot of the cleanup steps. It's properly splitting things, it's removing double quotes. You'll find that it also works with this other data file where it had the, like a comma as part of the data. So if I were to put a CSV reader around that and do the same experiment, you'll find that it properly captures the date, even though there's a comma as part of the date there. So if you're working with file reading for real, you really should be on the lookout for standard library modules to help you out. Turns out that this port module would be improved by using that CSV module. What I can do is import that, and then instead of working with the file at such a low level, I can put a reader around it, a CSV reader, and then use that in place of like raw lines. I'm still going to have to skip the headers, skip the header row, but then I can rewrite this for loop to be much higher level. I don't have to worry about stripping white space anymore. I don't have to worry about comma splitting anymore. I don't even have to worry about like removing quotes anymore. I can take a lot of this code and simplify it. I do have to worry about type conversion, this part of converting things into ints and floats. Maybe that is something that I would still need to do, especially if I'm going to do math calculations. I would still have to worry about that part. But essentially with that CSV module, I can greatly simplify the code, and it's actually dealing with a lot of the low-level details for me. So here's kind of a modified version of that code. Should work with either one of those files. Oh, I have it in port.py. Okay. So I run that, it should work fine. If I work with the other data file, it should work fine as well. So I think if there's any takeaway on that, be on the lookout for standard library modules, especially if you're dealing with common file encodings. They can really help you out, and it will greatly simplify your code.